Hey guys, what's going on? Nate Feldman, Feldman's Lawn and Landscape, here with another video for you. This one's going to be a lot shorter than the other videos I've posted recently. A lot of getting to know you going on, but today we're doing more of just a review on the hedge trimmer, the Kress hedge trimmer that we have, and the chainsaw that we have. And I'm just going to let you know my thoughts. I've had them now for about a week. I've put them through their paces, and boy, have we had all sorts of weather. It's been quite the week. These cleanups have not been easy. I think I watched the news the other day, and it said that of the 21 days of April that we've had, like 13 or 14 of them have been rainy or just wet. So as a landscaper, you can imagine that's not very fun, but we're making it work. We're getting through it. We're getting the work done. Definitely wish we had a little more done at this point. Just because, you know, you hit that point in the day, you're like, 3 or 4 o'clock, and you've been getting rained on all day, and you're really cold because it's like 40s or 50s, and you're soaked, and really tough to find that motivation to keep going, but whatever, we're getting there. Sunny days ahead, am I right? Okay, anyway, so let's talk about these wonderful pieces of equipment. All right, guys, here we are with the Kress KC200.9. I'm sorry if there's an echo. I forgot my mic today. And anyway, let's get right into it. I've only had it for a week, so I can't give you a ton to go on, but I can say that we have trimmed a lot of shrubs in this week with our spring cleanups. Just so you guys know, for our spring cleanups, we usually go into the property, pick up the sticks, pick up the branches. This winter, we got 2 or 3 really big, crazy windstorms that came through. Tons of trees came down, which actually was really nice because we got to test out the chainsaw this week. Spoiler alert, I was really impressed. But we also, we pick up the branches, pick up the sticks, we cut up trees if necessary, of course, if they're on the ground. And then, you know, depending on what the customer or the client wants, sometimes they'll ask us, hey, these shrubs haven't been trimmed in 6 months to however long, and we'll trim them up. So I would say this past week, maybe we trimmed like 8 different properties shrubs. So I got a good bit of work in with this wonderful tool, and I will show you, it's definitely not as clean as it was the day I got it. It's, like I said, been getting used really well. I will tell you, this is a big hedge trimmer. Hold on one second. I'm back. So the other hedge trimmer that we use that everybody seems to gravitate towards is this steel HS45. Let's see if we can get a difference in size here. Just look at the difference. Look at the difference in that. The bar is considerably longer, and I'm not even gonna lie, with the battery in this Kress trimmer, it is quite a bit heavier than this one. Now, I know a bunch of people in the comments are gonna say, Nate, that's a high-end residential hedge trimmer. You can't be comparing the two. Yes, I can, because we use it all the time. All right, I'll put that down. So anyway, weight. Weight is a big consideration, because if you're trimming shrubs, you know, for 3, 4, 5 hours a day, depending on the job or how many properties you have, you don't want your shoulders to be killing you at the end of the day, and you don't want to have to take tons of breaks, especially if you're like us and you trim the, and you charge the customers per hour per cleanup. That's how we do it. We don't, back in the day when I started the company, I used to give a bulk price for a cleanup, but now as we've added more employees and we have more overhead, as one of my good friends says, if I wanted to gamble, I'd go to Vegas. I'm not gonna gamble on the price of this job because I don't wanna lose. I'm not going to lose. If I'm gonna show up, we're gonna do a great job, but we're gonna charge for the time that we're there. And then it's fair for everybody. You just let everybody know, the clients, what your hourly rate is. And, you know, sometimes they'll ask for a ballpark, and you know, it's a ballpark. You can't quote anybody on that, but you can guess how much time it is. But always just a little bit of advice. If you do give a ballpark, say, that's just what I'm thinking right now. Now, weather conditions can change how much time it takes. So if it's super rainy and you have a ton of leaves to pick up, those leaves are going to be really heavy. And It's going to take a lot more effort to get them to the street or get them in the dump trailer. It's going to take more trips, or it's going to take more time. So I always add that in there if I'm speaking with a client about how much time a job's going to take. So anyway, got on that tangent. Let's get back to this trimmer. This trimmer's big. This trimmer is pretty heavy. I'm going to be honest. I'm trying to think of exactly how much this trimmer weighs. I don't know offhand. If I had to guess, 10 to 15 pounds. That battery adds so much weight, and I will say, I'm not a small guy. I'm like 6'1", 210 pounds about, give or take, depending on the time of year. And at the end of a job, I'd be like, wow, I'm getting a little sore. But that's just one thing. I'm also just getting back into the season, and if it were July and I'm back in shape with, trimming shrubs all the time and landscaping, I might not say that, but it's a hefty unit. I definitely love the build quality of it. And, with other hedge trimmers that we have, because we don't just have that steel one, that just seems to be the one that everybody likes. I'm not sure how to say it, but I think it's Shindawa, I don't know. It's like Echo's off-brand or different company. It's red. We have one of those trimmers. We have a couple pole trimmers. We have a bunch of different things. But this guy, it's heavier, and that's pretty much all about that. Performance-wise, I'm impressed with it. I'm definitely impressed. I was putting it through hedges. I was putting it through burning bushes, boxwoods, of course, butterfly bushes, pretty much anything that you might trim in the springtime. And some of these aren't just like, oh, a little off the top. It's like, no, hack that thing way, way back, because I don't want it to be so big anymore. So I was never bogged down with power. That was really great. But again, put that battery in there, and you're like, oh boy, here we go. Now, that aside, on all the other hedge trimmers that we have, one of them has an articulating handle, and I gotta say, I've never used it. I'm always just kind of shooting from the hip, and I'm just going around doing whatever. But because the bar on this guy is so long, and because the battery is so heavy, you don't want to be using all the forearm wrist muscles to kind of maneuver it and get it to do what you want it to do. So I gotta say, this articulating handle, I've never actually used one before or been like, oh, I'm gonna trim this way on a shrub now, so I better articulate it a different way. But this past week I did it a ton, and it definitely took a load off with the weight of this unit. Now, I've been harping on the weight, and that's just because everybody asks, like, oh, it's battery, is it heavier, is it lighter, what is your experience? So that's just the weight component. But performance, guys, I gotta say, I was thrilled. Also, let's talk battery capacity. There was not one property that I did not finish all of the shrubs. And some of these properties had 15, 20 shrubs on them. So that's a good bit of time. I would say at least, I don't know, an hour. And of course, I'm not just like full throttle on the trigger the whole time. I'm going on and off and only using it when I need it. But I gotta say, battery capacity lasted really, really well. When I did finish up between jobs, I put it right back on the tank. I was gonna call it the tank, the cyber tank, and it charged up the battery in like 6 minutes. It was crazy. Everyone was like, oh, it's done? And I'm like, yeah, I think it's done. And of course, 5 bars to charge, and that was great. So guys, hedge trimmer, week 1, very impressed with it, very impressed. Weight-wise, if we're gonna say 10 is the best, 1 is the worst, I give it 5. I give it a 5. It's heavier, but you don't, this is just me personally, I don't wanna feel like I'm working with a toy. I wanna feel like I'm working with a piece of machinery that like, oh, I dropped it, or my guy dropped it, or something happened. Like, it's not gonna break. So I don't mind it being super heavy, especially with this articulating handle, and with the battery capacity, the weight is something I can totally deal with. And I gotta say, not having to make mixed fuel, the time it saves, the mess it saves, the money on the oil, like going to the hardware store and doing that, I didn't have to do that at all this week. And that was really nice because, other than your mower gas, your truck diesel, your truck gas, not having to buy that mixed fuel was really great. And not wasting the time on mixing the fuel, also really great. So, guys, I would say I was really impressed with this. And so far, I'm having a great time with this hedge trimmer. I would recommend it. So that's just week 1 though. We will see where we are as we keep going with the season. And now I will show you the chainsaw. All right. Okay, let's talk about this Kress KC300 chainsaw. It comes equipped with a 16-inch bar. And guys, I have to say, if you talk to any of my guys, they will say, oh, I wonder what Nate thinks about the chainsaw. And that's really funny because all I would say is, this chainsaw is awesome. Oh my gosh, I love this chainsaw. I have a decent bit of experience working with chainsaws too. We run primarily steel. We have some top handles. We have, like, for the larger stuff, we have MS 362, I'm pretty sure, with the compression valve. We have a couple Echo chainsaws, have used like the Milwaukee hatchets before. So decent bit of use with the different types of chainsaws. So I was really interested to see what this Kress chainsaw would do. And what I did expect was a lot of power right out the gate. We did a cleanup, I believe it was Tuesday of this last week. It was actually, surprisingly, a really nice day outside. And one of our clients had called me and said, hey Nate, we have a downed ash tree. Is there a chance that you could just cut it up, take it away? And she showed me the pictures. I'm like, yeah, it looks pretty big, but yes, of course we can do that for you. And I was like, what a great opportunity to try out this chainsaw. I get there, and this ash tree was really nice. Not a lot of branches. It was just kind of like a celery stalk going about 70 feet. So a lot of really nice, just straight 16-inch pieces, because she did say when we got to the job, hey, why don't you cut this up? And we agreed, like, leave it for firewood. So we went and we ended up stacking it. I will put a picture right over here for you. So yeah, I had a lot of use with this chainsaw, and what can I say? The power, incredible. 16-inch bar, cut right through that ash tree like it was nothing. And the guys in the front, they were picking up sticks, I think they were trimming some hedges, raking leaves, and they walked back. I was halfway done with the tree, and they were like, Nate, oh my gosh, we didn't even know you got going on the tree. And I'm like, it's so quiet. It is so quiet too. Because, you know, if you hear someone in your neighborhood or someone down the street ripping a chainsaw, like, and like, this is not that at all. It has a ton of power. It's very, very quiet. Of course, it is exerting a lot of energy, so you're going to drain your batteries a bit more quickly. But with that lightning adapter, I believe that's what it's called, on the actual cyber tank, charges these batteries in like 6-7 minutes. If not, and we were blessed, Kress gave us like 5 4-amp batteries, which is the type that this wonderful chainsaw takes. And you know, you run out of one, you just bring another one with you. I think I cut that 70-foot tree into 16-inch pieces, and I think it only took me 20 minutes. I was blown away with the performance of this chainsaw. It didn't come with a scrunch or anything, so I had to use some tools, obviously, to tighten the chain as we were going. But I didn't have to sharpen the chain, and I was just, again, blown away with the power. The only time I noticed that it was starting to ease off the gas a little bit, no gas battery, was when it was on its last legs, and you're getting through the tree, you're going, or super quiet, and it's going a little bit slower. But other than that, it almost felt like I was cutting through butter. And for all my wood tree guys out there, ash is a hardwood, so that's not the easiest, not like pine to cut through. It was just really impressive. I highly recommend, I actually really do highly recommend this chainsaw. Definitely, if you're going to use it in a commercial setting, make sure you get a few chains for it. That's just standard procedure though. Get a few chains, make sure you come with bar oil. But again, not having to use mixed fuel, not having a mess, the noise too. Guys, I kid you not, if we were to have shown up to this house at 6 a.m., whatever, I guarantee you, nobody would have come out and said, what are you doing? You're making so much noise, because it's so silent. And that's, for a chainsaw, that's a really nice surprise. So, Kress, holy cow, really, really great job. And I said this as well after we finished that cleanup to the guys. I really feel like, at least in the tree industry, more and more climbers that I know, or more guys that actually go into the tree and disassemble the tree, they're talking about how they use battery operated stuff, because you don't want to be in a tree, and this probably wouldn't be what you bring up into a tree, but they also have a tool, Kress does, that's like a little pruner, and it's got a bar that's like this big. But again, you're getting through a branch that's this big, that's perfect for it. You don't want to be up in a tree, especially if you're climbing and strapped in with your spikes on, pulling and pulling and pulling and kind of throwing your balance off. So having something that's just like, plug in and go, press and go, that's awesome. That is so helpful. So battery chainsaws, I'm impressed. I'm really impressed. If you haven't tried one, I do recommend trying one, especially if you are in the tree industry, if you're an arborist, or you have a lot of land and you have to take down some trees. If you're looking at a chainsaw, I really would recommend looking into something like this. And also, I'm not going to show you right now. We talked about the Cyber Tank and how that's really expensive. It is, of course, but it's obviously an investment for a commercial guy like me. But if you're just a homeowner and you're looking for some really nice tools to take care of, trying to think of what the word is, but let's just say you have a lot of land and you want to find some tools to take care of your land. They have smaller chargers that are considerably less expensive, like hundreds of dollars, as opposed to thousands and thousands of dollars. So don't feel like this is out of your price range if you don't want to drop that much money on it, because there's definitely ways to still get this awesome performance without spending a ton of money in that commercial setting. But guys, chainsaw, was thrilled to have the opportunity to use it this week. I would say out of 10, I would give this thing a 9.5. 9.5, because, nothing's truly perfect, but if anything, we're pretty close to perfect. I would say this chainsaw is. I was really happy with it. You know what I would like to see? I would like to see Kress come out with, maybe this is where that 0.5, why I couldn't give it a 10. If I were to go take down like a silver maple or a really big oak tree, and that thing has a diameter of like 32 inches or something, I want to see, well, I'm sure it'd be pretty heavy, but whatever. You're only using it for a couple cuts anyway. A bigger chainsaw that can really utilize a 26, 28 inch, 32 inch bar. I would love to see what that looks like. And I'd love to hear how quiet that would be, as opposed to like a steel 600 series or 500 series or something that, these other commercial tree companies are using. So anyway, Kress, well done with this. Well done with this. If you're looking for a chainsaw, I would actually really recommend this. Even if I hate everything else, I have a strong feeling I'm going to be buying this chainsaw at the end of this project. So yeah, really good job. Chainsaw's great. Well guys, thank you for listening to my thoughts on the Kress Hedge Trimmer and the chainsaw. Those have been the tools that we've primarily used at this point. I will say I did have the opportunity to utilize the backpack blower that Kress offers with the big 11 amp that goes on the back there. And I gotta say, I'm really excited because this upcoming week, it's Sunday right now, this upcoming week, starting tomorrow, is lawn season. We're jumping right into it. This is our first week of cutting grass. So I'm really excited to see how that performs with just blowing off driveways, blowing off sidewalks, because you don't have to put it on the ground and pull it and pull it and pull it to get it to start like, the gas backpack blowers that everybody else uses. So I'm really excited to see that. I gotta say, power-wise, I can already tell if you're a steel guy and you have steel backpack blowers, obviously there you go all the way up to the BR800 series. I would say the power output is comparable of the Kress. The Kress power output is comparable to a steel BR600 backpack blower. Great, it definitely can move leaves around, pine needles around, whatever you're blowing that day. But it's not as powerful as a BR800 for my Echo guys out there. It's definitely not as powerful as like a PB8010 or a 9010. We also have a PB8010. That thing's crazy powerful. So the power, lacking a bit, but I gotta say, I have a feeling that people are gonna gravitate towards the Kress backpack blower because, you know, just easy, put it on your back, plug and play, and press the button, and you're off and taking care of the clipping. So that was good. I wanted to hold off on giving you more of an in-depth use of, or review of that backpack blower until we use it in a mowing setting. And one last thing, guys, the reason that I don't have a ton of footage of me using the hedge trimmer or the chainsaw, like I told you guys, I do all of my spring cleanups hourly for myself and my guys, and I would just feel guilty setting up a camera all the time, trying to get decent angles of me cutting up a tree, trimming a shrub. I don't want to make them pay for that. I don't think that's right. This is my project. They're not paying me to do this. They're paying me to trim the shrub, not set up a camera. You know what I mean? So that's the reason that I don't have a ton of footage of that. However, I can say that I will have a lot more footage of me using the weed whackers, using the blowers. I'll be giving you updates on how I'm liking the cyber tank and the batteries and whatnot. And I'm sure we will find other uses, like more tree jobs to come that aren't part of cleanups, where I can actually get better footage. So I just wanted to put that in there as well if you guys were wondering. But guys, thank you so much for tuning into today's video. I hope you're all doing well. Drop a comment. Is it raining a ton by you guys, or is it just us in Buffalo, New York? Because boy, I could sure use it to stop right now. But anyway, that's just me. Anyway, all joking aside, I hope you guys are having a great spring so far. I know we are. Spring comes with a ton of challenges. And guys, having been in this now, this is my 5th season, I'm going to have to take my own advice here. It's so easy to get stressed out. It's so easy to let the little things and the little comments, or, like, when is this going to get done? When is this going to get done? It's just so easy to get stressed out. Take a step back, look at what you've done, look at where you are with your business, and just appreciate it. Appreciate the fact that you get to work outside, even if it's raining. Appreciate the fact that you get to be your own boss. Appreciate, just have some gratitude, guys. And I know that's super hard. Super hard for me some days. But we're living the dream out here, and we get to play with all these fun, fancy toys. So just a little bit of encouragement today. You're doing great. We've got this. Every year we figure it out. And if you're like, how am I going to figure this out? How am I going to get enough employees? Or I need more of this, or maybe I need to go buy another mower. You're going to do it. You're going to do it. You're going to figure it out because you've come this far. So anyway, guys, I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate the support. Go crush it this week. More videos to come. Like, comment, subscribe. Gotta plug that in there. And guys, thank you for everything. I'll see you in the next one. Whoop!